Good evening, everyone. Welcome again. It's day 3 of trying to get the Ender-3 S1 updated. I should say Ender-5. Ender-5 S1 updated to the latest Marlin. And what have I been doing? Well, so far just cleaning up the code that was provided to me by Creality, which is based on Marlin 2082. Cleaning it up and getting it ready. And then last night after the stream, I tried to flash it, but I found I couldn't get it to flash. So, oh, there we go. I hear myself. Good. So what am I watching? Let's see. Oh, I'm watching YouTube. I'll put that away. There we go. All right. So yes, we are working on that process. Yeah, so I reformatted my SD card, and we're going to see if that helps to get it to flash. But what happened was I would rename it. First, I looked into the bootloader binary just to see if there was some clue as to what the name of the file should be. And there, it looks like they spelled it updata instead of update.bin. It's updata. So I went through and renamed it updata.bin, and it would actually disappear off the SD card, but it wouldn't update. So that was strange. Anything else that was a bin file, firmware.bin, whatever, it didn't do anything with. It didn't seem. It seemed to just ignore it. So I'm gonna keep trying this trick with the new card, newly formatted, and we'll see how that goes. So I'm just getting started here. So let me pull up my chat and all that kind of thing so I can see it, and we'll go on from there. So let's see. Here I am, Ender-5 S1 Saturday 2 watching. That's you and me, baby. So let me bring up the chat so that at least we can follow you. There we go. And that way I'll know who's chatting and why. So yeah, doing this thing on YouTube lately because Twitch has been fun, but nobody ever shows up. And this is more direct. You'll get more. I get more notifications out this way. So meanwhile, let's turn on the fancy lights and get this place atmospherically appropriate for coding. Got some more lights to turn on and stuff. So be with you in a sec. Oh, that's nice. Isn't that nice? All right. Yeah, we're still on the night schedule here, so this is my morning. Basically. And therefore I'm having strong coffee. Not that drip stuff. All right, so let's get our tools set up here. We have GitHub Desktop, we have Sublime Text, and lots of files open in Sublime Text. So I'm going to put them all mostly away. So yeah, I apologize to anyone who's been waiting on issues and pull requests. Well, mostly issues. I've been really focused on this one thing the last few days, and I haven't had time to get to the issues and bugs and stuff. So my apologies. We'll be getting to them over this week. I'm going to really slog through, and I want to fix especially stupid behavioral things like, pausing and M600 filament change and things that, might be misbehaving just because they're always misbehaving. They're really hard to nail down for like every printer, but I really want to get that sorted out and sort out some of the menu issues and things and just get the UI better. And I don't know, I'm going to spend a lot of time refining that stuff because it needs to be improved. I should put out a 2.1.3 update real soon, and that should help things. I'm keeping an eye on the OBS to make sure the stream is working well. You let me know if it hiccups or chokes. I understand Neuro3D is doing his Voron thing right now. So if you're not a Voron person, what are you doing there? Come on over here. Hang out. There's plenty going on, and it's all code and geeky. It's just as geeky, except it's more on the code side. haven't been using, let's see, apparently Cura had caused some issue for someone with a missing layer, but they switched to a different slicer. Okay, good. Good, not my issue. So, let's see, when we last left off, I was basically just cleaning up the work. So let's get back to that. Here's a pull request that I probably need to finish before I continue. I was just cleaning up this bit, which was apparently just a build issue when certain flags has extra progress. Looks like it's building everywhere for our purposes at the moment. We don't build every config, but as a part of this test, we just build like a lot of options. If there are options that are like missing, oh, that's interesting. Oh, good. It's, yeah, that's a definite fix right there. And these, I just got rid of the need to wrap prevent cold extrusion around some things. Oh, I'm not even showing you this. Hold on. Changes. So yeah, some various things going on with cold extrusion, TFT rotation needed. I guess I couldn't pull that out prematurely. I'll have to remove some other things first. And here's where I made sure these flags exist even when they're not needed as constants. And a thing where, yeah, since they're constants, we don't need to wrap them up. So kind of just removing the need to scatter a few flags. The main thing with the compiler is I just don't want to, it's not necessarily I don't want to compile every little tiny block. It's more that I just want to include a lot of files in the headers, like if I don't need to, because each time you compile a single CPP file, it's possible that flags you set ahead of your includes could affect the includes, and therefore I assume the includes all need to recompile. But there are ways to deal with that. You've got things like pre-compiled headers and stuff, but it's not something we sort out or use in platform I/O and embedded compiler world very much. So, so yeah. So let's just put a quickie. Oh, I don't know. I guess we can call that bug fixes. There. And now I have not yet brought it all up to date with 2.0.2.12, the Ender-5 firmware yet. That will be a next step after I at least get it to flash. So the first trick is, let's bring up the Foinda, and I actually have source code, and what I'm looking for is a thing called CRN4 CR4NS 2001-41C13 somewhere on my system. So let's see if that shows up anywhere. There we go. So I've got a few copies. I just want to make sure that they're all accounted for. So I have one here that is in my printer's Creality Ender-5 backup, and that's the one I'm looking at already on this other screen. As you can see here. And then there's another one somewhere. There it is at, I assume, downloads. No, maker, my printers, nope, same place. So that's the bin that this is from, which is within the folder called sources. So I'm just going to put that back in there. Meanwhile, I don't necessarily have to have that. Any more of these anywhere? Again, my printers. Yeah, so I think we're good. Pretty sure I have a copy in my downloads as well somewhere. Let's see. Oh, is this it? Nope. more? Looks good to me, okay. Anything like that? Should be more than one of those if I've... And yeah, there it is, okay. New release, yeah, it's just the bin. So I don't know why it's, oh, I guess it's on my contents of my SD card were these files. Okay, so we don't necessarily need those. They're not actually original firmware files. Okay, just cleaning up. It's easy to lose track when you've got 1,000 little sub-projects going. All right. That is fine. So happy Saturday. It is the 21st of January 2023. If you can believe it, 2023 has sneaked up on us and we're well into it. I don't know if you've seen this board. This is the one that is within the machine. And as you can see, it has an STM32 F40 something, F401, RET6, which is 512K. It has an unpopulated JST header, or I'm not sure what type of header that is. I guess probably I could be using my like ST-Link or something to connect up to this and flash it. I'd like to avoid that if I can. The environment that came with this is called, let's see, it's in this file at the bottom, I think. F401. I want to say it ends in F401. Pretty sure. Where is it? Well, actually, it should be easy to see if I bring this up. Let's go back to our project, Creality Ender-5 2082, and you'll be able to see I've actually collected everything in little bits, all ready to go. Pre-built bins and stuff, and I also threw the extra screen stuff that I found and downloaded for version 104. Their firmware is numbered 106, and then they actually have one that's numbered 1013, and this is the one I wanted to try and flash first, was the 1013 version. So we'll see if reformatting the SD card helps. I just formatted it following the usual instructions, and when I first examined it, there it is, RE_Creality. So I'll probably end up renaming this, but as you can see, it's got very few flags added, and it just pulls in a script to create a generic variant. And if I look at the way this works, generic create variant is actually on a lot of environments, as you can see. So any one that has like STVAL, so I could make something called, you know, STM32 variant or something that would always include this, which I think I may have done already, just to make it clearer that it's inheriting from that, but a lot of the, like, instead of common STM32, inherit from there. And that would bring this in automatically, and then I could, yeah, well, anyway, it's used a lot, but enough to justify a whole new sub-environment and cleaning them all up. Yeah, I don't know. They're interesting in that they are variants, and what happens with this script is all it does is it copies your local copy of into the actual platform inside your platform IO install, and then takes that and uses that modified variant as your variant. Whereas I guess there's no way to like just tell it use the one in my, you know, in here, in my install. And I'm not sure the reason for that, why it's not allowed or why it's not been made possible. It may that very well turn out that it is possible. But you can see there's this thing called variants here in Marlin. And we include, you know, all these files that pertain to a typical variant as you would find inside of a platform or variant. But we use these JSON files called, and to specify a board. So if you look at the STM32F1 file, F4 file rather, and that Creality environment, for example, it says board, Marlin Creality, blah, blah, blah. So we have to look in here, and there's that JSON file. So this board specifies this JSON file in here. And then this JSON file has a variant field here, and that tells it, oh, you're going to be looking for a variant with this name, Marlin Creality, blah, blah, blah. That's this folder. This folder will actually end up getting copied into your platform IO install when you do the build, rather than using this local copy here, which is interesting. So if you'll see, if I open up terminal and we go to my folder.platform.io. Hello. Yeah. Oh, I guess it's got a thing called plastic 4 in there too. Nice. So if I open platform.io, you'll see packages, platforms, PENV. So what you want to do is look inside of platforms, STM32, I believe boards, is it? No, not boards. Is it under... Let me think. Maybe it's in packages. Let's see. Packages, STM3, framework, Arduino. No, that can't be it, because it would get in here. Oh wait, yes, yes it is. Okay, so this is where it gets copied. I should know these things. Yeah, it gets copied into the framework variants folder with the name that was in your original install. So you can see all these things that I have Marlin in front of them. They're not actually included as part of when you download Platform IO. When you do it, these only end up here when you do a build, and they end up getting copied into this folder. And so you can see all these Marlin Creality variants here, and Big Tree, and generic-ish ones. Now, if we can find a way to like eliminate that need to actually do that extra little generic variant copy step, that would be neat, because it doesn't seem like it's natural. It doesn't seem organic. Generic create variant. But I'll show you the script as well. So here it is, generic create variant, and all it's doing is it's interacting with the platform IO stuff as you do. So we have, it's actually built on scons. So all this stuff is just, doing scons-ish stuff, if you know your scons at all. And yeah, so it's looking in here, and then this is, PIO and scons, I should say. A little of both. I guess this is defined in various other scripts. Framework, fix a weakness. So yeah, so the interesting part is it has to go through this bunch of crap just to copy the variant over and then use it. So you'll see it's source dir is a local variant subfolder, and then copy. It does the copy tree as the very last step. So cool. It works. But yeah, it would be nice to get to have some method where in your JSON file you could say local, or have it, or Platform.io would automatically look in the local Platform.io folder for these variants, rather than looking in here and having to copy it. So a little annoying, but so let's see where we're at with regard to this file. Okay, so I have this bin file here, which is the version 104 and older firmware that's on there right now. So I was hoping if I at least put this on there, I would see, oh, the version went down. And I don't necessarily want to go back to an earlier version. I would much rather use, version 1013 or whatever. So here's one that came from them. So I could copy this here and put it in here. And I'll just move this over here. And we'll rename this to updata. Updata.bin. Now the other trick with this machine is that in order to flash firmware on it, you have to send an M936V2 to set a flag in the EEPROM and then reboot the board. I'll show you what that's doing actually. So here's M936, and you'll see that M936V2 this is actually a serial in the original code. I just changed it to debug because maybe it doesn't matter if it's being printed out the serial? Maybe. So that gets sent out. So it does this OTA update flag. It writes it to the OTA flag EEPROM, which is apparently at position 90. Normal Marlin EEPROM data always gets written at starting at 100, so it skips 100 bytes. I don't know why we originally did that, but that's the way it is. So the first 90 bytes, or 100 bytes, are actually free and available to do other tricks with. So that's what this is doing, is it's setting byte 90. And apparently the bootloader has some kind of deal where it's going to be looking that up and using it to decide whether to flash the firmware. Now, the firmware file disappearing off the SD card is a clear indication that it's doing something, but it doesn't get flashed. So maybe it was because of the formatting, so I will find out. Right now, let's pull up the way that I connect to this right now is I just use the monitor button to connect. Oh, and by the way, this printer, if nobody's mentioned, has a USB-C connector on it. So you have to have a USB-C cable to talk to it. So as long as I set the baud rate to 115/200, we're good. And then I'll set local echo as well. Control-T, Control-E to set local echo. And now I can say M115. And you'll see it gives us a full report. And as you can see, it's 2082. The version that's on this printer was built on December 6th. So a really recent version, which is great. And then it actually has us as the source code URL, and Ender-5 S1 as the name, and it has a clever UUID, which I don't know where that comes from. And then it throws in this extra cap Wi-Fi line, so that's actually an error that they introduced. That really should be somewhere down here below, or at least have an enter in front of it. So I fixed that already in the new version. So now the next trick will be, oops, let me make sure I got this working. I just remembered I have my mouse hooked up to, oh yeah, look at that. It's hooked up to connect to my little screen as well, my iPad. So as I'm going across, it's like, oops. The thing is, if you have the screen zoomed on your iPad, it'll actually like follow the mouse. So it's like, no, I want to keep it zoomed on the chat. I don't want it to do that. All right, more caffeine, clearly. So the next step is going to be, we'll switch over to the, I'll show you the printer flashing fun. Okay, so we're on the printer, and now you can see I'm going to send it that M936 V2 after I move the SD card over. So let's eject it properly. And I have updata.bin on there. I don't know if that's proper. China's on vacation right now for the new year, so we have to wait for the full moon. All right, switching over to the printer. What do we got? Hello, OBS. Yeah, so basically, somewhere down there, it's on that side. So yeah, we put the SD card in here, and we can see, maybe I'll just keep it on the screen, maybe. Oh, the screen is kind of crappy, but what you gonna do, right? I can see definitely bringing this tripod down a little bit. Let's do that. Or maybe a lot. One more leg. Okay. There. Let's get up to that screen so you can kind of see it. It's, sorry about the camera. It is a kind of a piece of crap. Let's see. At least for these purposes. Can you focus? Hello? No, I can't really focus there. Just barely. Well, anyway, we'll see what happens as we do the M936. So here we go. Right, you can see it's given us some messages back, card okay. Here we go, enter. Boom, I'm watching the screen and no, that didn't work. That didn't do it. Didn't work. You'll notice also that they have the word Marlin translated to Chinese there, which actually I'll need to fix that as well, so that hosts can recognize that it's Marlin, if that's what they're looking for. So yeah, it definitely didn't take. If we go looking at the about, we'll see it is version 106 still. So yeah, we did not get a good update. So I don't know how to get it to flash. I've tried using the name firmware. I've tried using the name firmware dash something unique. I've tried various things, and it has so far not worked. I haven't tried doing things like locking the SD card. I don't know if it would like that, but I think it's formatted correctly with 4K block size and all that. It's all set to go, but here we are, and you can see the file is gone. It just went away. So let's copy this again. We'll put it in here. So yeah, the only clue, I don't remember, I saw somewhere else in Marlin the word update had been spelled updata. So I think that was probably a common mistake. So yeah, if I just name this firmware.bin, or something else, it doesn't seem to take at all. So we can, I'll show you that. Here we eject. So I'm going to have to go and find some answers as to how to burn this, how to flash this thing. There we are again. So M936V2. And yeah, no, it definitely did not take. So we need to get some answers. Let's go online into the wilds and see if we can find some answers. So let's start with Ender-5 S1 firmware, flash, and see if it has M936 mentioned. Something should mention it. Here it is, service tutorial. So they do have a thing that explains it. Let's see if it gives them information. Flashing the firmware. Creality. Hey guys, you're not just an evangelist, guys. You make a printer. So you download. Yeah, get the download part. We did that already. Universal Edition, etc. After downloading, what? Flash the mainboard. Okay, now what? Okay, find your file. Format. Does it have to be inside a folder named stm32f4_update? Maybe? Oh, look here, check it out. We are looking at, let's zoom up on this. FAT32 with 32K allocation size. That's interesting because I was using 4K allocation size, but it is FAT32, so I don't know if that matters. We can try that. So yeah, that might be an important step. The card they sent me was not formatted that way, so I'm a little confused why they wouldn't send a card that was formatted properly. So here we have the file, and there they go. They're copying it. And update, yep, open that folder. And it's just a bin file, right? Oh, it looks like they're copying the whole folder over. stm32f4_update. Well, let's put that on there anyway. And is that it? It looks like that's it. Okay. It looks like we just make a folder called stm32f4_update. Let's try that. And any bin file? Let's find out. New stm 32F4. Oops. For some reason, the usual keyboard commands for things like going to the beginning of and selecting at the same time. Command Shift left arrow. Yeah, there we go. I must have hit the wrong key. Okay, so this goes in here, and then I'll put this in here. I don't know if it matters what the name is. Probably not. And let's try that. Okay, let's finish the video, just see if they give any other clues as to what we might need to do. So formatting to 32K block size. Oh, wait. I just saw something. Allocation size 4096. Well, make up your mind. Okay, what's this? Now it says copy to the root directory. Oh, wait, no, wait. What are they doing here? Is this for the screen? Oh, yeah, I do have to copy over the screen at the same time, probably. Well, I'm going to be using the same, unless there's more to it. So that's interesting. Okay. Oh, unplug. Why? Wait, what? Remove the back. What are you doing? Wait, what? Oh, you have to take it apart to do the... What? Wait, what? What? Well, I know there's an SD card on the board, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's a big old... I think that's a big old SD card slot right there. So, yeah, it's possible that we actually have to put it on the board. Oh, that's annoying. But it makes sense, I mean, in a way. So, oops. Well, look at that. How about that? Damn it. Okay, so yeah, it's a bit of a hassle. That's too bad. But it is doing... Oh, wait, that's the screen, though. That's for the screen. I don't know if we need that for the... Oh, that is the screen itself. So yeah, okay, the board itself is there, and it actually is the SD card slot on the board. Okay, let's go back and let's continue. All right, I'm getting a handle on this. I think I know what I'm doing. All right, start out. Let's start out properly here by disconnecting the headphones. And we'll connect them up to, I probably should use Bluetooth, and we'll connect it up to this device here. Okay. There we go. Okay, well, yeah, if you want to update the screen, you put the private folder on the SD card, and then it has to be in 4K format. Now, does this other card have to be 32K format? We're about to find out. Or is the STM32F4 update folder the only thing that matters? Let's find out. Let's take a look. Okay, back to the desk code again. Okay, so we have it in there. We have a file called whatever. It's in the right folder anyway. And let's see what happens. 936v2. Update. That was taking much longer that time, but okay, let's see. We won't get that until the screen is done doing its animation. I'm going to do my best to make boot quicker on this thing too. Oop, and there you go. So we're looking at 2082 still, but this is a May 2022 build. So yeah, this is completely different. Excellent. All right, so let's get the latest that I just built. Or we'll just build it myself here, hold on. So yeah, I actually have to use a folder called stm32f4_update. That's important, so I'm gonna have to make a note of that. And make sure this all works. Build. Wow, very cool. We've gotten somewhere. there's still a lot of cleanup for this, and it's still not going to have like input shaping and stuff, so that's the only annoying part. Now I assume that since this is, only a month since what was there, that all the screen stuff will still apply. No new screen is necessary. No new private folder necessary. So here's our bin. We'll copy that over to our card. Let's do it. Removing card. It's kind of nice, the printer actually has the thing where you push it in and it pops out, so I kind of like that. I always like a good spring on my SD card. So yep, sure enough, and it doesn't do anything as far as renaming it goes. But that makes sense because you're using a flag in the EEPROM to get the bootloader to do the update. Okay, now once again, I would love it if the Mac Studio had a spring-loaded SD card. The only other thing about these printers is typically the SD card has to be upside down with the terminal connectors facing upward as opposed to the usual direction. There it is. Okay, here we go. Ugly. I really need to get a better cam for this sort of thing. Either way, let's see what we got. Oh, the poor lighting in here, it's terrible. It's just a very glary screen. Oh well, do what you do. Gotta do what you gotta do. All right, so here we go. Monitor. Okay. And we have 2082 from May. Okay, here goes nothing. Oh, that was too fast. It did not see. I don't think it got it that time. Do not need to update a app. see the terrible spelling in here. I'm telling you, just give me one pass at this, guys, and I will totally do my best to make it better. And yeah, so this is still 2082 from May, so it did not work. I don't know if they're doing anything extra special, like signing their binaries or something, but that definitely did not work. So let's find out what's going on. What is going on, guys? Is there something extra that I have to do? So, oh, you know what? Might probably just needs a new name. Let's do this. 2023 01/21. Just needs a new name, I bet. Because yeah, it didn't rename it, right? So I bet if we just simply rename it, it should work. My fingers are crossed. Because yeah, so it's using two schemes, one where it needs a flag and the other where it also needs the name to change. How about that? Let's just pretend that that's the case. All right, SD card, okay, too much reporting on that. We need to fix that up too. Okay, here goes. Updata. Oh wait, update.bin that time. Oh, it's working. Maybe. It's awfully, yeah, it's taking a long time, so I think it's working. And, yep, there we go. Wait, no. Echo last updated 5/29. Okay, now what? 2082 from January. Well, there we go. That's today. Yay. Okay, so now I know how to burn it. And I got a working firmware on there, I hope. Let's try doing something stupid like just homing it. We'll see how that works. All right, just home this bloody thing and hopefully it'll do all the things that it's supposed to do. There it is. Yeah, I'm going to have to extend the old tripod again. Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's see how this thing behaves. Okay, so basically it works like this. You say prepare, and then you say home, and there's an XY home and there's a Z home. And I'm going to do the Z home, which will force it to do the XY home as well. And there it goes, plate down, homing, X, homing, Y, going to the center, lowering, raising, homing with the probe. Oh yes, it worked. And click. Nice, okay. And now it's switched to 1 millimeter motion. It went from the 10 to 1. That's the only thing that's strange, is the size of the move changed to 0.1. Oh wait, no, now it's 10 again. So when you go back, it says 10. So I don't know, there's something about the update of the buttons at the top that I think is a little screwy. So I have to fix that probably. In, out. So there is actually a load and stuff. You just have to change the nozzle temperature. It has a keypad, which is nice, so you can type in the temperature. So I'm going to put in 180. And there's a checkbox. That's working. Okay, is it heating up? Yep. Here it goes up to still 22 degrees. Hopefully everything's working. It still says 22. Wait, the fan's coming on. So that implies something, but it still says 22. That's strange. It's got to be warmer than 22. It still says 22. I know it's got to be warmer than that. I'm touching the nozzle. Oh, yep, it's hot. Ow! It still says 22 on the screen though. That's very strange. Why? Why does it still say 22 on the screen for the temperature? I don't know, but let's turn off the temperatures. Nozzle temp 0. Okay. Yeah, for some reason the nozzle is reading 22. I'm going to have to look into that, because that is definitely incorrect. Okay, so yeah, we have a little bit of an issue there where the nozzle continues to read 22 degrees. I don't know why. So let's figure out what that is going on there. My guess is that the temp sensor pin is wrong in the firmware. I don't know, or possibly it's just not updating the screen. It's not clear which is which. It does show 180 as the temperature, so I don't know, but we know where the screen code is. It is in LCD. Well, I'll use this to get around. So here's LCD RTS, and we want to look at thermal manager, anything that mentions thermal manager temp hot end. So there it is, last target temperature, and so the target temperature definitely was updating correctly. So let's see what else we got. We've got, oh, there's send the current Celsius temperature. Okay. Oh, you know, we can also look at the temperatures as reported in the terminal. So we should do that. And 105, it says here that the hot end is at 100 degrees, so it definitely is reading correctly. So it's just the screen is not updating correctly. That is strange. So why is it not getting temp hot end correct? That's strange. While the target is not 0, set the target and then do an idle. I guess that would just be an if, actually. That's all you need there. I don't think there's anything where setting the target hot end will wait. It just does what it does. And again, here's why would it ever have it being greater than 0? I don't know. It's not really supposed to ever be like that. My guess is like set target hot end, it actually just sets temp hot end 0 dot target. Last time I checked, that's all it did. Reset, start preheat. So yeah, there may be some preheat stuff going on, but especially, 0, when it's going to 0, that's going to matter. So target equals, the minimum value, so 0. It's just going to be 0 here. Once you've done that, it's 0. There's no way it can't be. So this will never happen. So therefore it doesn't need to be there. Anyway, temp hot end, again, should never do that. There's no reason for that. There may be a reason for that, I don't know, but I'm going to strip it out unceremoniously. Meanwhile, greater than extrude min temp, we actually have ways to deal with this as well. Set target hot end, set to my own target. What? This again, very strange. Why would you need to do this? And then again, also, you're also just setting it again here to either temp hot or 200, so why? Why set it twice? Again, there may be like, a situation where it's like waiting, but I don't think so. I know it does like set watches and stuff, but yeah, I don't quite get these things, so I'm just going to comment that out because it's questionable. Meanwhile, if the temp hot is greater than thermal energy or temp hot in Celsius minus whatever 5, some kind of hysteresis, then wait for hot end false. And again, all this stuff is really supposed to be handled by the firmware, not by the screen, UI. This is not appropriate. You also have these, which are like protocol things, so it could be that it has something to do with it. To update the screen, you have to like tell it certain things happened, but I don't think so. It should be just continuously updating the temperature based on what it is. So what's up with that? So here's temp hot end, again, temp hot end. I don't see the reason. But sure. I see. If it's greater than, so it basically needs to heat up by more than 5 degrees, it'll wait for it. Otherwise it won't, which is fine. Moving on. Sort of. I'd rather have it be part of the API and not stuck in here. Like, it's okay, like as developers, I encourage everyone to like, if you find something is not in the UI, in the API that you need, in the temperature.cpp or temperature.h, and you need it for your UI or your screen or whatever, and it's also not supplied by EXTUI API or something like that, then yeah, add to our existing API so that everyone gets the ability to use it. Don't just do it for your screen and then wander and then forget about everyone else. Think of others. That's all I ask. It's all we ask. Just be thoughtful towards others. I've tried to strive to do that myself, and you know, as the standard of perfection that you should be aspiring to, please imitate me. Um, don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. Yeah, I don't know why some of these things are in there, but yeah, you can kind of see. It's just setting the target equals whatever. Sorry, I'm just doing a little cleanup because you do. When you see stuff, do a little cleanup so I don't have to do it later. All right, send the hot end heater, temp enter key, hot end target. So it's getting target fine, but what about Celsius? The current reading. What's up with that? It keeps saying 22, so I don't know why. It stays at 22 at all. Like, where's it getting that from? Oh, and my guess is it's showing the old value, like it has an old value thing, and then it's comparing and only updating if the value changes or something. Right. Actually, it should be greater than equal to extrude min temp anyway. And less than or equal to right? Is that right? If you want to be less than 10, then you got to be less than or equal to 9. Gotcha. So subtract 1. Okay. Next. Just going to remind myself how does logic work? And again, extrude min temp. Minus, 6 or whatever. I don't know, I mean, the number 5 is in a sense kind of arbitrary. It's like, how long does it take to heat up by 5 degrees? It kind of depends on what your current temperature is, really, to some extent. And here you have your thermometer is still heating, idle, so that's a weight basically. So, if this is something that's not in our API, then you would add it, If this is something that you think commonly is going to be needed, then why wouldn't you add it? Why would you just leave it? Again, yeah. I know it's not like, I don't want to just like label you guys as lazy and stuff. But I know that, I feel like the industry, if you're going to be rushing people, then you're going to get bad results and you're going to end up wasting time later anyway. So don't rush your people, give them the time they need to get things right and to polish their work so that it's nice and, what it needs to be. Otherwise, it ends up wasting my time too. And if I'm not doing stuff, then the state of the art itself is actually being withheld and held back, right? Maybe, to some extent, because I got to integrate this stuff and get it out there for testing and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we're going to look for the current temperature, of course, soon. Within. Why 127? I don't know. It's one of those temperatures that, you know, is meaningful, I guess. Right, so there's our Celsius. Tiny keyboard. Okay, interesting. And 127. Again, magic temperature 127. If it's that, then subtract whatever. It's interesting. Bed temp comp. I don't know why we have that, but we do. Meanwhile, okay, so here's where it's supposed to be updating, I think. If the target is not the same, then set it. Fine. So this is kind of like a screen update thing here. What are we looking at? Each moment update, yeah. So what? Doesn't equal target, or bed doesn't equal bed target, then update the target. Okay. And these are actually integers, that's why I'm safe to use within like this. Otherwise it would just say, you know, 85.001 is, you know, fine, so therefore why would I change it? And why -5? I don't really know. There must be some good reason for it. And then remember the last target. So that's fine. And then heatway and Celsius is greater than target, then blah, blah, blah. Right, there's your filament load, unload stuff. Okay, target. Then temp hot equals the target. Okay. I wonder if that's supposed to be like the value that came in, which is C. I may have modified this myself. I'll have to take a close look here. But you know, I could do this kind of thing. Temp hot. I wonder if that's meant to be like the old temperature. Filament ran out. Yeah, it looks like it's supposed to be the old temperature before it turns the hot end to some new temperature. Which, why is it keeping that? I'm not sure. It may be useful for various things, but there's only one. And you know, you could be doing 3 different operations and each one having an effect on it. Okay. Temp hot. Okay. So in the init, it's set to 0, as you'd expect. Oh, that's power off stuff. Okay. I think I can do this. I could be wrong. We'll find out. I could put it into dev mode and have it print out extra debug on that stuff. I need to add a lot of tests to make sure things aren't, common errors aren't done, and one of the common errors might be to misuse these. But all these got updated and modified with later versions of Marlin anyway, 2.1. So I don't want to go too crazy with those yet. Anyway, the main thing is why is the current temperature not displaying properly, and that's annoying. So I could compare this to the original, but at this point they're so divergent it's not really, there's no point. I guess I could look at least that one part where the code is being put up on the screen, so we can do that. And again, I don't know if these serials are needed or if this is all just overkill. Whether they're related to the Wi-Fi host and stuff like that, or the remote web over-the-air printing or whatever. So anyway, let's take a look at every instance of Thermal Manager in LCD RTS. And yeah, there's a lot of them. Boy, it makes me want to make a bunch of pass-throughs for this thing, but you can see it's doing temp hot end Celsius, all kinds of stuff. So I think current temp BP is where most of the time the data is getting sent. So if we were to, for example, right now it still says 22, so if I turn this thing off and then power it back up, it should have the proper temperature, at least at boot up. And yeah, it's 26 now. So yeah, it can totally see that there's a different temperature, but past that, it doesn't update it. So let's find out what's going on with that. So let's look at temp hot end aero.celsius and see if that's something we can actually replace. So right here it says, right, return. So degree hot end with the given index should do the trick. Dot Celsius, right? Right, so we should replace this with that. And then you have temp hot end 0 target, and that is deg target hot end. And then we have temp bed dot target, and that should just be this. And the only time I would change that is when there's an ampersand in front of it. So if we have any of those, and there aren't any that I can see, so presumably this is all good. Let's try building it. Right. Percent done is what? Apparently it's an unsigned value already. I'm pretty sure that'll be fine, because that's me. I'm just sure. I'm the coder. I'm always pretty confident in my code, even when it's wrong. Oh, what's that? Hot end temp. There we go. That's cool. So yeah, obviously we've got to change that. So if you say equals, there's a way to do that. It's called set hot end or something like that. Set target hot end, there it is. Yeah, it does a few more things, like handles preheat time and stuff like that, which is, you know, some of that's important, at least as far as the way that the hot end does its you know, handling of errors and stuff. So let's see what that looks like when it's used. Oops. In various other places. So yeah, it's used in various other places, including a lot of UI, so, you know. But yeah, the index is the second number, and the, yeah. So yeah, if you have something like this, it should be this. V with a parenthesis, followed by a 0. So something like that. There we are. Let's try that build again. Is that everything? Oh, we have a degree target bed, same deal. Right. So it's set target, let me guess, bed. Set bed target, set bed, hello? Void. Yeah, set target bed. Darn it. And that should do it. He said, with some trepidation. Oops, yeah, there we go. Forgot the dot, apparently. And what does that mean? Well, we're doing it twice in a row, apparently. We're using the preset, and then we're setting it to itself. What? Why would you do that? And you're making no sense to me. Very strange. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, so at this point we need to look at degree target bed. Our degree target, I don't know actually, it's not the target we need to worry about, it's the current temperature. So deg of the current temperature. Let's see, let's look at all the thermal managers again in here. Oh yeah, plenty. Let's see, so we've got our set bed to itself thing here, or to the material preset, that's fine. Very curious. All right, so yeah. The fan stuff hopefully will move to its own class eventually. Let's see, target temperature, 0. All right. Right, if the current target is greater than 0, then give me a new value. Fan speed, don't know if I need to use an accessor for the fan speed, but no accessors there. Now, when we were doing like menus and stuff, it seemed at the time like, you know, just using just modify these things directly inside the menu. But, you know, accessors and setters and getters and stuff can be very useful. So we may go for that at some point. So what's interesting here is it's like it's saying bed temp display, subtract basically the target, take the target and use that and divide it in there. So I'm thinking it's like, but it's multiplying by 5. So this is like 10, the 10 thing. I don't know what's going on there. We're going to need to understand what that means. But I think it has something to do with maybe it's displaying hex digits and it's like cheating. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, if last target temperature a 0 doesn't equal thermal manager, etc., etc. So this thing really only handles, I think, one hot end anyway. This particular LCD setup is only defined to do a display for one hot end, which I guess makes sense since it has not much room with the giant Creality robot to fit other stuff there. So what's this? Set target hot end to itself again? Give me that. Give me that. What is this? Right? Set to your own temperature, basically. This makes no sense. If we've done it already. I'm thinking maybe it's like it doesn't want to do this wait where it's doing the setting. Possibly it wants to wait until it gets here before it does the wait. You know what I mean? Until it gets to the point of updating the screen first. But why wouldn't it just send the update of the screen at the time that it's setting the temperature instead of waiting for here? It depends on how the handlers work and stuff, but we'll sort of look it over. Also, fill runout pin could have its own state. We have a thing for that now. I think. Yeah, we do. Fill runout state is high. So we actually have a thing for that now. And we probably even have I bet there's even a bloody method to deal with this. If it turns out that, you know, like high, well, high is what it's set to, so I assume that means run out. I don't know why it's going directly to the pin state in the here, you know. Okay. My guess is runout actually handles it, but maybe not. What? Okay. Oh, I see. Fill runout state for greater than equal to 1, then it's 1. Okay. We should do that just in case. So we have runout.h. Now runout.h can handle various kinds of runout sensors, so my thinking is, you know, we should use something called ranout or something like that here. Pull runout pins, pull runout states. Like, we should be able to just get the current state of a fill runout. So, hello? Filament present, how about that? Given the number of the extruder, and how about we say runout.filament present 0, something like that. Not filament runout present. Let's see what happens. So we have if runout enabled and filament is out, then etc. break, resume print. Where is it used? Well, not just there. Well, it's used in, that's interesting. I guess it's not used in a lot of places. Oh, it's part of response filament present. Well, whatever. Also, it handles that, and then we don't generally use it as a thing, but I guess we could. Right, it calls response, so it's interesting that filament present is not used in a lot of places. Strange. Let's see about what is runout used for in all kinds of places. Runout, reset, runout, enabled. Oh, there's a thing called get filament runout enabled and stuff. So if we were using EXTUI, which probably should be for this type of screen a little bit, I don't know, we could maybe work on that. Come up with some more stringent standards for dealing with displays of this kind. There it is, filament ran out. So mostly it's used as filament ran out instead. So let's go with maybe that. And can filament ran out be set if it's not enabled? It cannot. It looks like. So I'm thinking, well, maybe the runout sensor not being enabled, it doesn't really want to even show the state at all. We'll have to see what's going on with that. But yeah, I haven't played with the filament runout sensor on this a lot yet, but looks to me like that could be sorted. Anyway, temperature. It's all about the temperature. So when we set the temperature, what's the deal? So we did enter the temperature. We set the hot end. Apparently temp hot is the old hot end value. from wherever. Rec data 0. Okay. I'm not sure what that's about, but yeah, we don't necessarily need to deal with card mounting here either. It's not part of the display per se. It's really, you know, it's the kind of thing where I want Marlin to handle the media being run out, and then it calls your display to let you know. You get the idea? Callbacks, that kind of thing. That's the idea I'm looking at here, is like, can we, you know, try and, again, standardize these APIs. Don't accept the code as it is. It's meant to be expanded as new APIs are needed. So please, folks, by all means, do everything you can to like help this out in that manner. Fix up the APIs. Of course, this is 2.08, so first of all, start with the 2.1, the latest version, and then work on the APIs. Don't bother making too many with the older version of the code. Like I'm sort of building on like APIs that have already been built out for this version. And what's this? .0499. Okay. Again, maybe that's a place where seal might have been more, you know, like what kind of logic is this to have in a display handler, guys? A display, a UI. You know what I'm saying? You hear me? You hear me? Stop with this. Also, this is going to just lock the machine up sometimes. Like, what if it's in the middle of a print? You know, and it's going to be like, the buffer's just full. It's full. You know, we can't enqueue one now while it's full. Like these, we shouldn't be using enqueue now P here. Right. Anyway, why is it not showing the current temperature? It's still showing 26 on the screen. Let's find out. What was that label for the temperature again? Current underscore V, this one, head current temp VP. Okay. So it sends it first in the init, as you'd expect. You know, I could start with 0 here and just be like, set current temp, set temp. Yeah, like all these should really be, you know, based on the current values, but right, and then here we have the previous, which will be used later. Okay, so current temp VP, bed, head. I guess head means hot ender, print head. So here it is being sent for whom? What's this all about? I am going to label the heck out of this thing and comment it. For example, I think this one might already be commented here. No? Okay, well, fine. How often is it called? That's the question. It is called when RTS update is called. RTS update is called here, whenever, kind of part of this thing. It's part of UI.update. Frankly, UI.update could do either of those things and always be there. I believe UI update is pretty much always there, so I could look at that. Yeah, so it's got a lot going on actually. It's got buttons, and so this wouldn't really be where you'd do it. Right, next LCD, etc., etc. So yeah, Marlin UI not involved in this type of screen. Seems like the kind of screen you could probably Marlin UI it a bit, but it's got the way that it's sending data and stuff. I guess it's pretty well defined already. Maybe I moved. I hope I didn't change the value of that. I mean, that's always possible. It is an enum, I think. No, they're predefined here like that as commands. So they're all macros, which is interesting. I mean, you could certainly make them into an enum if you wanted here. And then the type would not be in question. Like all the things that end in VP, I think I would make those an enum maybe. All right, because you've got, yeah, look at all these VPs, right? And here M75 through 78 needs to know about these. Like, I'd much rather these kinds of things were moved definitely back to the display itself. Like each thing should have a handler in it. So yeah, I would say this kind of stuff like that. What is that? You know, all that comes from, that's all part of the Creality RTS. So I would move all of M79 handling over, and then also get rid of any parser stuff so that it's all being done before it calls the handler. So let's see. Yeah, I think I'll do something like that pretty soon. Probably down here. Let's see. Let's do that. And there'll probably be a things to call. Let's see. We need to pass what? T, C, and D, and so yeah, there's a cloud value. I think that's just the connect, start, pause, resume, stop, complete. So yeah, I'm going to go with command on that one. And we'll make an enum for it so that we actually have no mystery meat. We don't like mystery meat values. 0, 5 means cloud print complete, 6 means whatever. Not good. So what's one? We have connect. And that's 0. Oops. Then we have start, pause, resume, stop, complete and continue. It says power continue, but oops. So I assume they mean power loss continue after a power loss or something. So, okay. As you can see, all this Crowdy RTS crap in here. Clearly, these are all going to be part of Crowdy RTS. You're going to need a separate thing for all these. So, yeah. And it's what? Cloud also prints statistics as well. Yeah, because it actually does change things. It changes the state value, all kinds of stuff. But it's all related to the UI. So, again, so we usually use a type def and there. Meanwhile, we also have a feed rate, time, I guess, and remain. And I guess, we'll go with 16 bits, I guess. I assume millimeters per second, but it could probably be... Oh wait, no, that's why Celsius? Cut that out. Use a feed rate value. What are you doing? And use a feed rate type. Right? I assume. Yes. Maybe there'll be some M79T stuff around, but yeah. And then this needs to change its name too, to M75 through M79 if it's going to have M79 in it. Or if we could move M79 elsewhere to its own file, just because it happens to be related to the other stuff. So, okay, so my only other thought is, yeah, this should all go to the bottom here. Yeah, so we've got a time update. And I guess it actually should be 32, because we need to make remain. All right, so okay, we're good. We could always make it set the stats in a separate method, I suppose. Yeah, and those are millis t, of course. I forgot about that part. Millis. Millis. Let's involve the Discord a little bit. Oh, Keith is here. Hey, Keith, what's up? Oh, the SKR3 may have a new variant processor, but it'll have half the memory, half the flash space. So keep an eye out for that one. Meanwhile, live streaming. There I am. I'm playing Visual Studio Code as a game, apparently. All right, so we're almost there with just figuring out the temperature thing, I guess. I still haven't done that because I'm too fascinated by this problem. Sorry. It just happens. It happens sometimes. Yeah, so also I guess if these are 0, I guess I'll just make them like ignored, I guess. I'm not sure what to do with them exactly, but Yeah, because these are like obviously being, it's just for printing, you know. Interesting. So yeah, my thought is maybe do the command part first as separate, and we'll just do set stats for the other one. First one with just the feed rate, then one with time. Remain. And that way they can be called or not. Okay. And instead of print stats, we'll say cloud command. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're supposed to do this kind of thing. I know. Split that screen. And here we are. If you're just joining me, thanks. I have a Patreon, and I also have got a GitHub sponsorship under the Marlin account, and also under my personal one, so you can choose. But they both come to the maintenance. I've been paying out bounties here and there. Paid out a reasonably good bounty for our input shaping. Frankly, it's worth $1 million to a lot of people, because it's such a good, you know, such a good feature. All right, so those are all going to work. So then we just say RTS check. Oh, actually, these are going to be not RTS check. It's just going to be that kind of thing. Yep, same deal here. Meanwhile, wherever this exists, it's going to be here, I guess. Yes? Okay, good. Yeah, outdent. Hopefully this will all still build. But we might need to bring in another header somewhere. But yeah, we'll say and Celsius, no, clearly not. Meanwhile, cloud command. And we'll just make this a special feature of Creality RTS. Boom. There, now we have the commands documented in an enum. We have all that. Let's try to build. Build. So yeah, 512K is pretty normal, pretty expected and typical for these things. Oops. Is it integer? Int. It is int. So what's up with that? What did I miss? What am I missing here? Oh, it wants to take it as a cloud command. I gotcha. Okay. Of course. Build. Makes sense. Of course, it's a type. There, that worked. Good. Now, we still have the problem of the screen not quite working with the temperature not updating. So let's find out what's going on. So let's see. Find .Celsius. Okay, first of all, degbed. No, nothing, no degbed equals, good. Okay. Degbed. I just like to say degbed. Next we have, yeah, it's quite a bunch of stuff on the init. It's the initial drawing of the whole front screen, I guess. Then you have, oh yeah, rec data. Okay, greater than or equal to 3 if it's not 4. Do all that. Okay, weird stuff going there. I'm not gonna look too closely at the protocol in that area there. Find .Celsius. Any more of those? Oops. I know how to spell Celsius. Okay, good. Deg hot end. So we want the degree of the hot end, and we want to figure out what's going on. Right, wait for cooling, obviously not. Let's see, set target hot end if it's already, it's like, I love this kind of stuff. Set your target to yourself. What? Why? Still heating, idle. If abort printing, break. Well, of course. I think actually if you abort printing, we could do something like not, you know, turn off wait for heating. Like whenever this gets set, it probably should turn off wait for heating. That would be my thought. if you're in an SD print kind of situation. But there may be some times when you want to, yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. That's probably a good point. Equals true. So we have a lot of places where it is set to true, abort file print soon, right? So here it is. Okay. Abort and set the hot end to 0. I mean, sure, if that's the behavior you want. Again, these kinds of things can be set as behaviors of the printer. They don't just have to be part of the UI. So, you know, again, I understand that the code is not super documented, like anywhere, like a lot of people explaining it and, you know, giving tutorials on how to do this or how to do that. All I can kind of do is catch things in after the fact. I haven't had a lot of time to make lots of prints, videos about this stuff, but I'd like to. I'd love to see more of that. So head set temp VP. I wonder if it would change if I send it by, well actually no, it's just not updating it at all. So let's see what's up with that. Head, not the set temp, which I guess would be target temp basically. Right, so, right, the target load data 10 times filament load. Yeah. And there's some other like basic standards of like variable naming. You know, we use camel case sometimes, but they always start with lowercase letters for objects, some types. Names with underscores I've tended to like better. They're more readable. So we've gone with underscore case. I don't know what you call that, dromedary case. But headset, head. Temp, head. Filament. Current temp. What's up with head current temp? Let's see, is this the periodic thing? Each moment update, yeah. So let's at least document this a little bit. Update called frequently from idle, I think it is. dwin, I should say, dwin update. Usually, let me see where it's being called in this instance. It is indeed being called from RTS update. So various things, and I guess that would be more like the long description, but and this does, I don't know, update the state of the UI, I guess. So we've got Wi-Fi reset. It's easier to read. Yeah, this stuff too probably end up being moved. Int val f, sure, int val s, 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, again, these are more mystery meat commands here. Int val. Does it do anything? Apparently not. It's just a flag, so what does it do? I don't know. Let's leave it at int val for now. And then you get your Wi-Fi S val. So here we could do a, switch. If and I just prefer switch in cases like this. It makes it a little neater. So yeah, it'll be F1. I don't know, I'm inclined to say bool val just because, well, for bool val it has to be there and it has to have either nothing or a 1, so we'll leave it at bool val. Meanwhile, sure, Creality Wi-Fi, yeah. Meanwhile, this is called from RTS update. Looping at the loop function? I don't think so. But it is called inside of idle. Let's see. UI and what else? Receive data. That's the interesting part. What's the receive part? Handle data. Okay. And remove card window check. I guess that if you're not waiting for heat up and you're not homing and you're not doing G29, then remove card window check. Okay. We'll just go with etc. Called from idle to manage the RTS UI, I guess. I'm going to call it RTS. Okay. Sure. All right, so this is where it would be doing update the, the current temperature and stuff. So what's up with that? Pause action, SD card pause, printing is paused, not blocks queued, and queue a G0. Okay, whatever. Why you're gonna do this in the middle of a, periodic update thing? I don't know. But you might. It's clearly gonna be setting a flag, yeah? Okay. Yeah, because if you call this, it'll come back and potentially loop forever, which you don't want. You definitely have to do this to keep it from re-entering this block. Okay, pause action flag equals true. Okay. I guess that's just to keep it out of here, but if it does equal true, it does this once. It moves to 220, 220, which that's really how you're pausing in this scenario. We have a pause, we have a whole pause feature, guys, you should be using. We can, we got to work out how to best work this out, because this is silly. Percent done, let's take a look at that for a second. Just in case there's a little bit of volatileness to it here. Okay. We're good. All right, good. That settles that. Next, all right, if the temperature is greater than the target or equal to the target, then do what? Send the filament load and unload stuff. In the case of heatway, what is heatway? Is it ever going to be equal to anything? That's the question as well. What's up with heatway? Because it looks to me like it can never become true here. So I think that's probably part of our issue. Whoops. All right, so let's see what happened in the additions originally. Oh, can't see. Can't see the originals, so we got to go find the original. Hold on. I've got it. I've got it. Give me a second here. Maker, where did I put it? My printers, 5S1, sources, source code, here we go. Marlin, source LCD, dwin, LCD RTS. So this will probably end up in a subfolder as well. Because I don't think this is including dwin.h, lcd.h under here, unless I'm mistaken. No, it's not. Yeah, look at all the things it's including, but none of them are the local dwin stuff. So it just happens to be dwin, but the thing is it's totally controlled through serial. So it's not really dwin. It's more like MKS. Like, where did we put that one? It's more like it's really much more like an EXTY display. It just wasn't implemented, I would say, properly as an EXTY display, if that's what you really wanted. But it does look like we can do some things on the screen that, like, maybe we can even do things like plot a mesh and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. So let's find out where this heatway thing went and what's up with it. Hello, heatway. So it starts out being a 0 here, and it is global. Then it shows up here. If it's equal to 1, then it becomes 0. But it's never set, so let's find out if it's anywhere in the code. Of course, we made it false and true. And it looks to me like it never is ever set in either case. But let's take a quick peek at like all the code from there, and that'll give us a better clue. Just in case there's like, I don't know, it's used somewhere. Yeah, just the two. Okay, good. So heatway, yeah. Where else? No, it's never ever set to 1. So presumably it is never used. So it's essentially never used. How about that? Therefore, that whole block of code is dead. Yeah, so if it had been set, I guess, externally by something, we would have seen that. So, moving on, if last target doesn't equal the target, well, we know the target shows up properly. And look, it does send it like every time. It's supposed to send it right here. Degree hot end 0, set as the head current temp VP. So why doesn't it work? Right? There's no, condition where it wouldn't be sent, so I'm very confused. Is it possible that this hot end is somehow not index 0? I don't get it. We're gonna have to just do another build and see if it makes any difference. So let's get the card out of the printer. And put it back, and yeah, so it needs both a new name and it needs to be in that folder. So now we know. Okay, so let's do this with, I don't know, what time did I do that one? Like 9 o'clock, something like that. Going hard. Oh yeah, aren't we all? So let's put this away. And we'll call this our 10 p.m. attempt here. All right, eject. And connect. Okay, we're all good. And let us now, what was that command again? 9.4, I used to know it, 940 something, M9, 20, 6, 30, 36, 20, 20, 26. Darn it. Should know this by now. It is M936 V2. I'm looking at the screen. It's taking its time. It appears to be doing the update. It's pretty slow. It says 3 minutes, but it's like already done. Okay. And wait, what's this? Last updated. Compiled. Oh, I see. Let's get rid of that date. Well, that makes sense, actually. That's the original release date of 2082, so I'll leave it there. But yeah, that's 220446. Yep, sure enough. I don't know why that's got its own separate line. It should be compiled with that on its same line, I think, personally. That may have been fixed later. So anyway, does it show the current temperature? Well, it does say 21. Let's see if we can do M104 S60. And none of these things are showing up quite correctly here. Let's see what M105 says. Yep, it says that we're at temperature is 67 and the target is 60, which kind of implies that the PID tuning isn't so great. But also, yeah, the screen is definitely not updating correctly. I think I may need to get the screen update for this as well, which is a big hassle. I've got to open the printer up and put it in the bottom and all that. So it's quite possible that this doesn't apply. Let me see if I've got assets from a different build here. So here's the screen stuff. I see, yeah. See, they gave me the right folder name. I did translate this, actually. I don't know where I might have to make another copy. I probably threw it in the trash. Hold on. Trash. Firmware. What's it called? Ender-5 underscore, etc., etc. Sure, I have a lot of old configuration files in here. Private, nope. Loader, nope. Huh. I must not have thrown that away. But also, yeah, I don't see anything in Chinese, which I guess would show up at the very end of alphabetical listing. So, okay, let's just empty that trash then. Too much stuff in there anyway. Alright, so I did translate that. I don't know where it ends up. Maybe that one? No. Yeah, I'm not sure where I put it. Darn. It was a big hassle to translate it. Alright. Probably wasn't the best translation anyway. Well, anyway, let's, I don't know, I guess from the new release I will use the private bit. But yeah, the new release, actually this is for version 104, so I must have the newer one. Yeah, this is 106, so this is probably the one I need. Even though it was already 106. How annoying. Well, it did get the temperature, like it had part of it right. So I don't know what's going on with that. If I go to PLA preheat, it says the nozzle temp is 205 right now. Cut that out. So yeah, there's a couple of little sketchy things going on here. Let's see, M105. It's currently 59, so yeah, I was hovering at near 60 degrees. It wanted me to set the temperature for preheating to 205, but also I just set the temperature, I thought to 0, but it didn't take it. Oh, and maybe that I was setting a temperature setting rather than actually setting the temperature. Settings, it should be under settings. Prepare, temperature setting, nozzle temp, 66. Okay, so it has that correct on the screen now, 66. So it can draw it. That's not a problem. Some things I would definitely change about this UI all over the place. So now it's 0, and that is also correct. But yeah, for some reason it doesn't update the current temperature correctly at all. So let us now see what is up with that. It is doing, it's supposed to get it from here. Did I mess up this? That's 103.6. Of course, we have other numbers between. There could be, that could be involved. There is a screen firmware that I have, but it's like source code and stuff. But it isn't screen source code, or is it? I'll say it's here, but it's not. That's my current Marlin firmware, never mind. And yeah, I guess that's the only copy I have there. It's certainly possible I did all this on my laptop the other day and I forgot to copy it over. So let's see if I can do that. Connect to my laptop. Okay, and then is it in my projects? Ah. Okay, screen. I did open up the screen. Okay, good. So nothing too proprietary or scary in here. It's funny, I get people on Facebook asking me to like look into code issues. Like it's not really going to work that way. Use the GitHub project and report an issue instead. Don't come over on Facebook and expect me to jump. And then, 2 days later, remember that you have contacted me on Facebook with something. I mean, like, so yeah, you can see the screen is like, all the graphics are there. It's a bit much, really. If they're redrawing the whole screen, that's a bit much, guys. But I wonder if there's any information about those numbers that it's using to print in those parts of the screen and how that works, and whether there's information about that. Looks like this XLS file may have something to do with it. So let's see, var type description. So let's see if that number shows up and what that's about. So if I had 1036 for the current temp. 103A, there it is. So it's something that exists. Image ID 1, data variable, doesn't say much about it. And it actually looks like 1036 shows up a lot here, actually. There's another one. So it's not the most important thing. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Not sure what's going on with that, but I can try using the private folder and re-flashing just to see if it makes a difference. Might as well. All right, so let us get the SD card, and I guess I'll look at what the screen requires. I think it requires a micro SD, so I'm gonna have to grab an adapter and put it on there. So I just happen to have an adapter. I don't know if it works, but we'll see. And let me go grab an SD micro, and I'm sure I've got one for like the CR30 or something here. Hold on. All right, so supposedly this has to be formatted a little differently. Hopefully I don't have to do that. I don't really want to do that if I don't have to. So this card is for a mystery board. Is it going to even read it, is the question. Oh, there it is, BTT. So, yeah, that's at the BTT SKR3EZ, I think it is actually. All right. Right, okay. Yeah, I guess I've been collecting a few things here. Firmwares from various places. Okay. So we need to put the private folder on here. And we'll see if it works at all. And we have to open up the printer. Won't this be fun? So, first things first, got to shut that off. Next. I'm not going to worry too much about the filament here. Let's see. Because I'm going to flip it on its side where the spool is, or not. Yeah, I guess I can do this. Come on. What's with this? What's with this holder? Well, maybe I can get... I'll just get at the bottom this way. Boom. There we go. Now this is potentially leaning on stuff, so I'm going to try and be careful. So what size do I need? It looks like I'm going to need an Allen wrench of M3 size, something like that. Grab one. I think it might be this one. Maybe. Nope, could be too large, I'm not sure. It works. So how many screws do you need to remove? Too many. I feel like I should throw a towel under this. All right, almost there. All right. I'm going to say 8 screws total. So yeah, a bit of a hassle to get this update on here, especially if I don't actually if it turns out I don't actually need it. That would be the most annoying part. All right, so let's actually. I'm actually going to flip it on this side. Yeah. What's that other wire? Oh, that's my microphone. Well, we can't have that under there. That's not so good. There we go. So yeah, the fact that the screen isn't quite updating correctly, again, I don't know if it's my code or the assets. I can try swapping back in like the function that I've modified and see if it works in its old form before I go to all this trouble, but it couldn't hurt. I don't think it can hurt to flash the latest on there. Just make sure it's good. Just make sure it's the latest, greatest. But it did say 106, at least as the firmware. The firmware number was 106. Whether the screen assets were totally appropriate, I don't know. As I recall, the original firmware did update the screen temperature correctly, so it's probably something I screwed up. But I can't tell where. It's like, I assume when you send the info to the screen that it does the right thing automatically. Automagically. And all those commands were definitely there, so why, again, does it not show the correct temperature? Some other things, the screen does connect at 115, and I mean, definitely some things were definitely getting sent. Well, it's possible too that nothing from the firmware is getting to the screen because I did something screwy with the serial. So that's possible that actually nothing that I send, like not even M117, will work. So that's a possibility too. Is just I don't have the right serial info, but it looks like other things are happening, like where did it get that 180? Well, yeah, it got that 180 from somewhere. It did update, And the screen can't update itself. Only Marlin updates the screen, and it's doing it via, again, it's doing it via serial. So but, yeah, we'll get a closer look at this particular unit in a second. Which has been a fine machine. The first print was good, it was very solid. Nothing wrong with it. It stuck great to the plate, in fact, too well, as others have said. Okay, so yeah, I gotta pull the fan plug out of here or not. Actually, I'm going to just simply do this. Okay, and there we are. And there's your screen. So, just gotta grab the card and we'll be set to go. We'll see. It may need to be reformatted. We'll see in just a second. So, first trick, put that in. Okay, now we gotta power it up. So, hold on a sec. Of course, I put it on the side. That's the power plug. Ew, this poor fan wire is going to get so twerked. Oh, okay, let's just do this. Stay. Okay, plug her in. Here we go. And it's blue. It's printing messages. So yeah, I guess the formatting is okay. All right, we have blue. We have messages. As you can see, sort of, with this crappy screen camera. It's blue and it's printing messages. Well, it's bright. It's printing messages. It's got a lot of assets. I don't know what's going on there, but at least we'll be up to the latest 106 stuff. And wow, it looks like it's got a ways to go. It's actually got a little red bar. Progress bar. So it's going to take a while. And I've got all these screws to put back. I'm going to just leave the bottom off for now while I'm working on this. And we'll put the screws away over in my screw pile. We'll put it in my screw cup here. Until we're done. Yeah, my workshop could be set up better. It's true. It's all very ad hoc. Everything I have here is like found furniture. It's been my custom for decades to like just use found furniture and not buy too much stuff. Had a visitor here recently who kind of cajoled me into buying a proper mattress. So I actually do have a proper bed now, which is nice, but I don't know. I kind of like the stiff futons, you know. I like a good hard futon. These fluffy mattresses, foam mattresses and things like that, I don't really, I don't know why. Just, I guess I like sleeping on the hard ground. That's just my thing. Almost done. We've got about 1/5 to go. So yeah, pretty quick once it got to a certain point. Almost done. Screen update in T-minus few seconds. Yeah, this is a little annoying that I'm doing this even though it's probably not necessary, but it can't hurt, it can't hurt. There's also a way to update the bootloader itself with an M936v3 command, and if you have the right stuff on the bootloader. Okay, so now that that's done, the screen is simply blank, and I don't think the firmware is going to reboot or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is simply turn it off. I don't know, I'm a little nervous to just turn it off because it hasn't given me like perfect confirmation or anything. But I'm assuming that it's done, so... Okay. Let's pull out the SD card on the screen. Okay, there. I'll just put this away. Okay. Sec. All right, there we go. Again, leaving the bottom off for now, while I work on it, and then we'll, just in case I need to flash the screen again. You never know. Right. All right. So let us boot and see if anything is good. Again, I'm thinking those numbers are related to the, telling it which element you're going to update. Okay, we do have the screen animation. So we do have a successful boot. Okay, it says it's 23. Let's try M104 and see if anything happens. If not, I will look at what's going on as far as the screen and continue. So, host. Monitor. Oops, unexpected. Oh, I don't have the... Helps if you have the serial connected. Hold on. That's an important element. And it automatically finds the printer or the serial device that you want to connect to. It might not get it right if you have multiple printers connected. All right, and there's our firmware and S60, just so we can see. And yeah, it's not updating the screen. Also, oh, I don't have the SD card in there, so. Prepare, temperature, nozzle temp, it says 0. Settings, prepare, temperature setting. Yeah, it doesn't seem to know that the temperature has been set, so that's a little weird. So let's see where else that's done in their original code. I actually have this, I made a bunch of callbacks, as you may recall. At the end of this, things like update feed rate, update position, etc. And I don't think there was anything like that for temperature. There is a reheat hot end. That's interesting. Then you've got other things. If the target hot end, if the temperature is set to greater than 0, then get the current temperature and set it back to 0. So probing pause hot end. Leveling update. M105. It could be that I don't think the screen is sending requests to Marlin, but it could be. It could be sending an M105 request that Marlin has to respond to, and it's just not getting the format it expects or something. But I don't think so. But yeah, the question of which serial port is supposed to be the LCD serial port should be settled. LCD serial, right? If it's been set, then it should be that. Otherwise, so LCD serial in this case is if def LCD serial port. If it's -1, then it's M serial 0. If it's between 1 and 6, then it becomes M serial. So it should be this. Previously, let's see, it was set to, right, serial port 2. I guess it should be, well, assuming that everything works out, it should just be this, you know. Yeah. Build. Yeah, it could be that the serial port's just wrong, which may have an effect on that. So let's see. Error. LCD serial is M serial LCD serial port according to HAL CPP. And again, LCD serial is M serial LCD serial port according to HAL CPP. Or .h. Okay. And LCD serial is LCD underscore serial. So it ends up being just what we think it should be. You know, something like that. Oh, I see. But yeah, it should already be set here. And then there may be some reason internally at Creality that they needed it to be like that, but similar to that. We don't know. G underscore. The one global that has a G underscore on it. Sure. So yeah, so let's see if I put debug in here, underscore. So it looks like, you know, certain things got debug underscored, so maybe these need to be serial instead of debug. Let's see, update feed rate, files finished. Yeah, things like that. I don't think so. Let me think if there's a way I could have it verify that it's receiving stuff from serial, or I don't know. Let's try that build again anyway. Build. back to that. So let's see if RTS underscore comes up anywhere besides here. See all kinds of RTS updates here. RTS init, all that. Pause, run out, filament ran out. File has finished. Pause, pause, done. Anything in temperature where you've set the temperature and therefore it has to call it? Looks like it does. Some calling. Sure enough. Yeah, these are areas where it's like RTS error. There's RTS update, which is called periodically in the PID tuning, which we're not doing, so moving on. Yeah, so I don't know. Oh, look at that. Whoops. Don't want to call that twice. Elif enabled reality RTS, then do that. And finally, sure. And where else does that get called? Oh, here, huh? Inside idle. Okay. So yeah, I'd prefer this was like UI update or whatever, but I kind of wonder if UI update is anywhere involved in this at all, but I suspect it sort of is. There is a, because the configuration sets CR10 stock display, which I don't think is needed, but let's find, I don't think it is. So let's see, but it's interesting that it allows the build. Yeah, look at that. It doesn't, it requires a graphical LCD. So yeah, can't turn that on. Right, it's not even used there anyway. So let's go. Meanwhile, build. Yeah, we don't want, because there it's going to be sending SPI data, and there's no way to, like, you know, switch over to that type of screen. Okay. Let's find out where this exists. Hello? Okay. Dude, it's got its own concept of a pause menu response, which, okay. Presumably this is supposed to be true. Or emergency parser. Let's see where this is used. As part of pause, it has various states. For the pause menu, wait for, extrude more, resume print. And it wants to use those here. All well and good. Okay. Pause.h, hold on. Okay, going next. Is that all we need? Is it resumable? Is it really resumable? Where else does it come up in being resumable? It has a response, it has a pause mode. It has, if has LCD menu, it calls that, otherwise it just sets the response. Right. Okay, and then you have UI language equals, so where's that? And then you have get text, message home first. Under here, it is part of the language stuff. Pretty sure this screen doesn't use its own language stuff, so what's up with that? Motion P, CPP. It should be get text. The English version of this. Instead, this shouldn't be printing out to serial. Anything except English. So this is incorrect, but I think it may have been fixed in a later Marlin, so let me just check on that. See, that's a cleanup, that's a cleanup, that's a cleanup, and a cleanup, and another cleanup, and even more cleanup. Not wired LCD. Darn it. So, okay, then we go to 1x, and let's see what's going on with that. No, not good. Yeah, okay, good. And home sum access first, basically. Okay. Main access names. Actually, you could end up with like no X, no Y, no Z. So, gotta watch out for that. Could make a string out of it, I suppose. Well, I see. So yeah, these are actually str underscore whatever. That doesn't make any sense though. I might just have to go with home %s first, and instead of map list, this, we'll go with stringify main access names, something like that. Here we go. That should do the trick. So it could be up to, you know, let's say home XYZ first. And that should do the trick. String axes main, IJK UVW. Yeah, so it could be up to, you know, for example, could say that. Echo a line message, right? I don't know. You could do that to give it a second to do the serial thing while it's doing the printy thing. And then you set the status to message home first, get text F, but not get text F. You need the get text EN. No, we can, no, for setting status, actually, we can use the screen, so that's cool. So actually, I would need to go through and do kind of what I just did, but also differently. Let's do that, get message home first. Let's change those in the language files. Is that always that one? Cool. Okay, how's that looking? Oops. Yeah, don't do what I'm doing. It's a waste of time. Okay, so yeah, that's that, but then I have to also fix it so that it actually has the right language. So yeah, we gotta do oh, I don't know. Let's find that. That's the one. We want the one that's just get EN text. Yeah, like that. For the status. There we go. For example, sure. Okay, I think that's correct. Yeah, we just want to make sure it's always English out to serial because that's it's a part of a protocol. looks good to me. Okay. And that's, I guess, a user experience thing. Is it a bug? Yeah, no. Sort of. Oh yeah, this thing. I'm surprised this string is like not beloved. I know it's a long string, but it should work, I would think. But is serial echo just not able to handle errors? Let's take a, oops, no. I want to go look at that issue again for a second. It's going to come up as a PR, please. Pull. Yes. Redirect. Redirect more quickly, would you? The number of parameters that it can take? Well, no. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. You'll notice that this is all concatenated as a single string. Well, actually, you're right. No, there you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess you're right. So it could have as many as, I could have a lot. So yeah, you're right about that. Okay. I was a little bit worried, confused there, but yes, you're quite right. Okay. Next. So here we have, yeah, we don't need all that crap with the extra characters. We have a string with the axes in them already. Anyway, I don't know if I can do that here, but I guess I'll copy exactly what's here because it's pretty much correct. But I think this extra axes main thing doesn't exist in the other, in 208 or whatever. So I'll have to just. Well, I was gonna bring this up to date soon anyway, so I don't know. For the moment, I just want it to build. So let's get past that. Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot here. Interesting. Homing needed error. Hello. It looks like it's passing some things. So it's a little more complicated these days than it used to be. It's part of motion.cpp, it looks like. Return false or do something. Okay. That's peculiar. Did I accidentally remove it completely? Oh, there it is. Jeez, what's going on? So yeah, that's strange. So it looks like the older one was printing out like just the axes that need to be fixed. Yeah, oh, gosh, yes, of course it does. Whoops. But yeah, basically what I need to do is make a string and then pass that string, so almost there. Almost there. Just, let's fix this first and then I'll come back. Yeah, so no, it's not quite there yet. String axes main. The language part is correct though. So we can leave all that. But this one change, yeah, I'm going to keep that reverted for a moment. So it could be up to 10 or something. I don't know. How many axes do we have, you know? A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, I, J, K, U, V. So it's up to 9 plus a blank. So let's just do num axes is set to what? Let's go to types. All right, so here we have main axis names. Yeah, I'm thinking string axes main, just pull a character out for each one that's, you know, done. So we say, let's see, char pointer axes equals string axes main, right? All axes, we'll say. And then we say axis bits, and then we go through the axis bits in a loop. Loop num axes, right? Or logical axes, right? Or no, just loop. Is it distinct axes? I don't know. See what that says. It goes from x-axis through logical axes, which is right. So num axes is actually what we want. Loop num axes, x through num axes. And then you say, there you go. If test axis bits I, then need n++ equals all axes I. Yeah. And then when you're done, need n equals a null. And then the rest of it is kind of what I do want. So I want need. And that's going out to serial, so therefore let's see if there's a get en. Do I have that? Oh, I do. Good. I'm glad that already exists, because it's a hassle if I have to add it again. So yeah, that's going out to serial. Then we do the status. Get text. Status. There. So that should do the trick, right? Yeah, so basically if it's not 0, then we're definitely going to print something. I like it. All right, so I think we're good. Let's make sure it builds. Well, let's amend this first. Amend. There. Now, oh, of course it was there. Anyway, so let's see. This is what we end up with, which I like. And let's make sure I have something with multi-language to test with. Oh, I don't know. Pick a test, any test. LCD language 2, French. So that one looks like it's doing a couple. Oh, here's one with multiple languages. Maybe. Oh, just the very first example in Mega. Okay, so let's do Mega. Ah, darn it. CI source filter, what the heck is that? Oh, it's because I'm looking at old stuff. That's why it's behaving like this. All right, let's do this instead. I think you use example configs. I have it set up. You can actually pull down a version as well, like if you want one. And let's see, it's, yeah, something like this. Eight, 2. Yeah. But wait. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I'm using the current version. I don't know what's going on. What is this CI source filter crap? It does exist, but I don't have it installed, I guess, as part of my path. Hold on. Yeah, I guess it belongs there. Once again, mf test t mega. I have a shortcut for that. N1y. All right, building. So far, so good. Building. Oh, let's turn this bloody thing off here. got some pretty loud fans. I'm really, that's the one thing I'm not too fond of with these bloody printers is their fans are so loud and there's no need for it. You know, none. Especially if the thing is, you know, off. You first, you know, there's no heaters on or anything. All you're doing is providing air for a fire, man. Okay, so that's homing needed error. Right. All right, let's fix that and get that bloody thing building. So it looks like it built, so we're good. And, oh, that's interesting. Org source filter. Must have something to do with the CI test stuff, right? I don't know. CI test stuff. Guess I should do a git merge here. Because I fixed a build error. And then same deal here. Just so that it can build. But also, yeah, so here's some missing pins here. Cool, Ender-2 stock display. I didn't realize there was such a thing that's different somehow. New type of, is it added here or is it already there? Oh, it's already existing, okay. Cool. And my question is if yeah, I guess that makes sense that you would have these somewhere. Let's see what the deal is with the Ender-2 stock display though, real quick. So it's apparently like an MKS Mini 12864 mini panel of some kind. So it really should be treated like a mini panel. But let's see how it's treated by pins files. So for example, CR10 stock display. So here it's treating it like these. MKS Mini 12864 or Ender-2 stock display. But not mini panel. Apparently mini panel isn't covered here. Even though I suppose you could put mini panel here instead. Was that conditional again? Right, it's mini panel, but mini panel is also maker panel and mini panel are also kind of, I don't know. I would really like to see someone just go comprehensively through all the displays and deal with this stuff. Figure out which things which and which are like other things, because you see that mini panel doesn't show up where those others do, and those others don't show, you know, are, yeah, like they're not there. So kind of like, would like to nag people about that. Like, yeah, okay, so you decided that that this particular thing, the Ender-2 stock display, like does need this, but I don't know, where else does it show up? Let's see where both of them show up inside of a file. So here's a CR10 and an Ender. So here's CR10, but the Ender, yeah, sure, same pins. Sure, same pins. Right, more or less. Is it an open drain? I don't know why it's marked as 58, open drain, I don't know what that means. And we don't care. Then you have the enable, apparently not part of stock display, you know, so. And then D4, so yeah, all these pins are needed for CR10, then all these pins are needed for. So I'm going to assume they're not actually really related in the way that this dude thinks they are in Millsy reality. They're not the same. And I guess you could say either, if you want to put it in front. Let's see what we got. So, Ender-2 stock display again, where is it? Let's find some other things that define it. Here's one. Apparently, nothing important there. Hello, pins. Common. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, this doesn't really show up in this file, so does this include something else? No. I don't know. I'm inclined to just think, well, they seem to use the same pinout as mini panel. And I don't know. Looks like it's supposed to be the same, but it has D4, D5, D67, and of course your encoder. Meanwhile, enable, apparently, for the graphics smart controller. Okay, fine. And then fascinating. All right, so all well and good. They do seem to share the same encoder, so I'm sure those are, and probably the same beeper. All right, what time is it? 11-ish? All right, we're going to be begging off in about 10 minutes because didn't get too far today. But we did at least get the thing flashing. We did find some flaws in my attempts to clean things up and merge them, so I'm going to have to figure that out. We'll do in the next session. Meanwhile, again, if you have an Ender-2 stock display, you need an encoder and you need some dog LCD stuff. Mosi and Miso seem to be taken care of, and CS maybe. Nope, there they are, CS and A0. does stock, the CR10 stock display does not, it does need D4. But not this one. Okay. Well, again, probably should split this up here so I can see, so I can actually see what's going on. Whoops. Okay, so in the case of a CR10, you do have RS, you do have your encoder, you do have your enable, and you have your D4. And I guess SDSS comes up somewhere in here too. Interesting. So it does not get defined for either of them in this case. Well, that may just be that the SKR14 doesn't supply an SD pass-through, which I think it would. Okay. Sure. CR10 stock needs it, but not Ender. Enable, also it doesn't need it. Again, it's not the same kind of display. And it also doesn't need pins RS either, apparently. I'm going to see about the situation. Rather than the Melzi. Okay. So what do we need here? If we've got Creality, stock display. Okay, you need your RS, you need your enable, you need your D4, you need your encoder. So just those 6 pins, looks like. 3 plus this. And then the beeper, I don't even know. Maybe it's the same on both. Interesting. Or is D-Win Marlin UI? Those are D-Wins though. Has wired LCD. Doesn't get one for that. Really? This thing doesn't have much in the way of beeper pins. Is there a beeper on the CR10 stock display? I think I have one in here. I should check it. I should check it and see. Where did I put that thing? I think it's in the other room where I've been experimenting with that other board. Or was it this board? No, it's the easy board. That's the one I was messing with. All right, so then pins Melzi deals with more stuff. And of course pins Sanguinolulo is where that ends up. And it gets this one, which eventually does have some LCD stuff towards the end. Right, LCD pins defined. Right, if it's a Marlin UI glib, it could be a Melzi, it could be something else. Maker panel, Melzi, Zone Star, not Zone Star. Yeah, so it's like, you know, the current way Marlin has been set up is just there's a lot of like the displays that came with your printer and the board that came with your printer are considered to be like paired, and so the pins were put together just for the things that kind of like you would expect to get in a bundle. And I really wanted to make it so that you could use any display with any board as long as you had an adapter. And we just haven't gotten around to defining the adapters and separating the display stuff from the pins stuff. And so people keep creating these PRs to do stuff like this, and or keep fixing these stupid little things and these little, you know, piddling little issues instead of making a system where it's actually defining headers and then it's clear everything has the same, you know, on the display end the plug is always the same, and then you've got these 10 pins which are arranged, you know, in a particular order on the other end of the plug, and if it doesn't fit that way on the board, you make an adapter, and that adapter remaps those pins, and then you define the adapter. You don't, you know, or you set it up in such a way that the pins that they do connect to are, you know, are good, are the right pins. And generally speaking, the power and ground are in the same spot. You have to watch out for that. If the, you know, if the key is wrong, the power and ground will be in the opposite side. So you got to watch that. But otherwise, like, you know, so I just haven't had time. I did go through a big, like, week-long effort to try and get it defined that way and set up that way. And you know, I really went to the effort. And but it just was like not ready for prime time and need a lot more work and a lot more sorting out. And I just never got around to finishing that sorting out. So, but it, you know, it's you can kind of see the effort I started on and what the idea was, and like, you know, if I could get it done for like one pins file, like ramps, then, you know, I could continue to expand it for the rest. But you can see like some of these don't even define any kind of EXP headers. MKS Robin Pro, there's no EXP header in here. Not defined. Why? Because why not? You know, because there is no, you know, maybe there's no adapter or something. I don't know. But like FSMC TFT, it's got like a ribbon cable or something that you connect to. But you could conceivably take that ribbon cable, make an adapter that makes an EXP plug, and connect up a stock display or something. You know, it's just 5 volts, ground, and a few signal pins. And you can decide whatever you want them to be. You know, they can be anything you want, as long as they don't interfere with other pins or timers or things. You're totally good. So yeah, I'm a little annoyed that, you know, that we continue to like beat a dead horse and not actually build a proper system, and that contributors feel like that's all normal. And it isn't, man. Like, if you find yourself, you know, ripping your hair out because you have to find pins inside of some remote pins file for your display, it's like, oh, these things need to be sorted out, you know? So let's do this. First of all, it's a mini panel. It's not like the CR10 stock display, even though they have the same kind of name. That doesn't mean that they're the same type of model or anything like that. So what was his original plan there? Was to... Love you, Bob. Love you, Bob. You live here in Austin, but you never visit. And I don't blame you. I might try to feed you vegan food or something. Mm-hmm. Right, so these are ST7920 and 9720, which is not what our thing is, I don't think. I could try and see what a little more about what that display is, but so it's MKS 12864. MKS Mini 12864. So what does that mean as far as our display type? I guess we'll see. Let's see, there's nothing special about it down below. Apparently this is sort of a clone. Okay. And then mini panel is Ulti-panel. If it's a maker panel, then it's actually ST7565 controller, which is interesting. Cool. Otherwise, I think it's probably ends up with this. I would guess ST7920, which is not unusual, but yeah. So, So yeah, it's interesting. Nothing special. Oh wait, nope, no. It's just one of those. Gotta label these better. I don't know much about it. I can put some pictures in here. I want to see what they look like. So yeah, MKS Mini 12864 is a mini panel, etc., etc. Is Ulti-panel, is Dog LCD. I guess not. Oh, it is Dog LCD also. But I'm getting a sense it's not L7920, which is interesting. It's not clear what controller it is, actually, now that I look at it. Like, okay. It's like if you set flags, it's clear, but if I'm not setting any flags, all I know is it's Ulti-panel and is not ST7565. Interesting. I don't know. I'm just guessing it falls back to ST7920, but it's hard to tell. It's interesting, some of these pins actually do just go, hey. I see. That's what that was. It's done for the timing. Okay. So what's up with that? Well, let's see where it's mentioned anyway. Ender-5 stock display, just a couple more pins files that mention it and see if they do anything funky. Yeah, it looks like these are all, it likes these. It does create the MOSI and MISO, and it does force soft SPI on this particular Big Tree Tech board. I don't think it's needed for Melzi. But yeah, you have your encoder pins, you have your A0, and your SPI pins, and that's it. It was interesting. Wait. Oh yeah, okay. And then it got to this part. So there's one where it's comparing itself again to the Ender-2 stock display, but only because I guess it's filling up that it really probably should say something like it has SPI display or something like that. It should be clear because then the port is used, and that's why that motor expansion can't be used, because it's got another thing on it. So we just looked at that one already. Yep, and there's one where it has the Mini and the Ender-2 as well. I feel like we could probably go for that, actually, if we want to. What's it called? Melzy? Melzy Creality? I don't know. We'll go with that. How about that? I'm thinking enabled mini panel, but I don't know if you could just hook up a mini panel and have it work. See what that looks like when it comes up in a pins file. CSA0, so it has your A0, and then it has your SPI, and it does have force soft SPI. I don't know if that's necessary, but yep, CS and A0. And then it brings in the multi-panel stuff. D5, D6, D7, which I think it is actually. Because it's a mini panel, it's also an multi-panel, and therefore it has D5, D6, D7, possibly. I think those are extraneous for, I forget what they were used for, what they are used for. If anyone can remind me what those pins are used for, that'd be great. That'd be just fabulous. Yeah, obviously not ready for prime time in Ramps land. Yeah, I really need to work on a lot of stuff here. Okay. Reality stock display, yeah. CR or CR10 stock display. So yeah, is it ST7920? I guess we'll find out. Actually, were those thrown in as part of, no, they were the D5, D6, D7, weren't they? Yeah, which are not defined. Again, this is one of those problems which I really want to get around to, but it's like, let's take a week and work on it. All right, I said I was going to call an end to this at around 11:30. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. And this is going to I'm going to continue to work on this, and we'll have a Marlin 212 for this Ender-5 very soon. I'm going to take a break, get some food, and I don't know, maybe work a little more. We'll see. All right, so take care, folks. Love ya. Check those links for all the ways you can help out the project. Stop in the Discord and all that. Say hi.